How's it going? So I put a post out, I think it was yesterday, and I said you guys can pick the theme for my next video. So there was like 3 options in a poll. One was my 10 favourite Vinegar Syndrome releases I own, my 10 favourite Stephen King adaptations in film, and the third option was my favourite zombie movie. So I've just checked the poll, so whether it's changed or not I don't know, but as of like half an hour ago, my favourite zombie movies was winning, my 10 favourite zombie movies. So that's the winner, because it's cut off now, the cut off points, but you know, you can still vote if you want. But anyway, I've decided, because it was top half an hour ago in the poll, I've decided to do my 10 favourite zombie movies. So yeah, the zombie genre is pretty fun, you know, it's a subgenre of horror. Had a lot of them though. I mean, ever since like 2010, in that period, you know, with things like The Walking Dead coming out, which is a pretty good show, you know, about walkers and zombies and things like that. And basically it's been saturated. Like, there's so many zombie movies. There's, you know, there's some new really bad ones, and then there's some new really good ones. But I think the older ones are a lot better in my opinion. Like, quite a bit of a well, I was a big fan of The Walking Dead, and then I kind of dropped off from that show a little bit. I still need to finish it actually. But anyway, I personally really go for these sort of older zombie movies from, say, the 70s, 80s period. I don't think there's any like ones past the 80s in here actually. So I've got my stack of 10. I'll try and I don't want to give anything away, but I'll just hold them up and show you guys. There's the 10. I've got them all, I own them all on physical media. This was a pretty tough one, placing these entries. I went through my collection not long ago, picking them out. I knew which 10 I wanted to put in the list. However, arranging that 10 is so hard. So some of them, to be honest with you, pretty interchangeable. Like, you know, my top one is my top one, but other than that, pretty interchangeable. So let's get started nonetheless. So number 10 in my favourite zombie movies. Now, this might surprise a few people, but you know, if you watch the channel, I'm a big fan of like low budget cinema and stuff, and independent films and whatnot. For number 10 in my favourite zombie movies, I've picked Cemetery of Terror. I got introduced to this movie by Vinegar Syndrome. Excuse the glare a little bit. It's the lighting. I might have to turn my blue light off. I'll see if I can just get that in shot a bit better. There we go. I'll do a cut after this and turn the blue light out, see if that helps. This is Cemetery of Terror anyway. It's a Mexican horror. Really all over the place. I just enjoy these type of movies where there's a lot of splatter, a lot of gore, a lot of carnage. It's got supernatural elements with the zombies, and it's just a crazy time. The narrative's pretty much kind of non-existent. It does have a narrative about these forces of evil being awakened in a graveyard, in a cemetery, and that's about it really. Directed by Ruben Galindo Jr., who's done a couple of good films. You know, he's a pretty good Mexican director. But yeah, this one, Cemetery of Terror, check it out if you haven't. It's all over the place narratively. It's just so much fun. Like, really enjoy it. Right, quick cut. So I turned the my LED lights off because you can actually see the additions better now. Now this is number 9. Now this is might surprise a few of you, and you might be thinking, what are you doing? Like, this one should be way higher. But like I said, the list is pretty interchangeable. It was a hard list to do because these 10 films I just think are really good. But I've placed some quickly how I kind of rate them. Coming in at number 9 is one of the probably the pioneers of like zombie cinema, like one of the biggest zombie movies ever made, the most influential zombie movie ever made. I've spoken about it a few times on the channel, so I won't go on too much, but I've picked George A Romero's just classic from 1968. This is my number 9, Night of the Living Dead. Now, like I say, this could have gone a little bit higher, but for me, this slots in nicely at number 9. It's a fantastic movie, really well done, absolute classic, stone cold classic, bona fide classic. I just feel like, even with George A. Romero's Dead movies, I think he kind of took this idea and kind of built on it even better for the other films like Dawn and Day. I prefer those two. I love this film as well, one of my favourites. That's why it's in my top 10. There could have been, you know, I could have even probably done a top 20 zombie movies, to be fair, but I went with 10. And Night of the Living Dead slots in at number 9 nicely for me. Now, I absolutely love it. I think the film's fantastic. I think the characters are great, you know. You got Barbara, who's a little bit flaky in the original, you know, but I had to slot this one in. I could have even put the remake in, and I'll just I won't reveal whether I have or not. But Night of the Living Dead coming in at number 9, absolute classic. Responsible for how zombies are depicted in media, modern media today. You know, we wouldn't have shows like The Walking Dead without George A Romero's kind of vision for zombie action with Night of the Living Dead. Absolute classic. Love this film, but it does come in at number 9 for me because I just rank the other ones. They're more fun to me, the other ones. I do Night of the Living Dead, perfect movie almost, but there's just a few more that rank a little bit higher. Coming in at number 8 is one that took me a while to get into. I mean, I saw it as a younger person, and I weren't too keen on it in my younger years, say when I was a young teenager, but watching it in later on, it's really grew on me, and it's a hell of a fun time, and I need to stick it on again because I haven't watched it for a couple of years now. And coming in at number 8 is The Return of the Living Dead. This movie, like I say, really grew on me over the years. I did not like it at one point, but now I really appreciate it, and I can clearly see why a lot of people hold it in high regard. It's so much fun. Basically, the majority of the film is set in a morgue, like a funeral home, where the group are having to basically watch the zombies. It's pretty hilarious as well. The zombies kind of speak as well. They go, more brains, you know, more brains. That's a really funny aspect to it. It's got some good gore. It's got a good soundtrack, you know, a lot of punk music on the soundtrack and stuff, really fun. Yeah, I was actually having to listen to some of the songs off the soundtrack with my friend the other night, who's actually really into punk, so he wanted to have a check out the Return of the Living Dead soundtrack. But yeah, fun movie, top tier zombie action. It's take it lightly, it's not a serious one, but yeah, it's fantastic. And this 4K just looks amazing. I love watching it on this 4K, and to be fair, watching it in such a high quality of that 4K from Screen Factory really pushed it up in my sort of estimation, just because I'd seen it in its best possible manner, and it grew on me. Because I'll admit I wasn't a big fan of it prior. Coming in at number 7 is one that I also did not like when I first watched it, and then I watched it about a year later, and then it got this beautiful release, and it grows on me every year. I watch it almost every year or 2 years, and that's coming in at number 7. That's Burial Ground. I think this movie is so much fun. It's ridiculous, it's out there, it's wacky, carnage-filled action. It's Italian horror from the early 80s, so sometimes the narrative is just all over the shop and doesn't make that much sense. But basically the theme is these people are going to stay at a manor on an island, and the dead are rising, and the dead are actually quite smart in this. They're not your typical dumb zombies. They will try and get into the house, so you're not going to block them out, because these zombies are quite smart in Burial Ground. Sinister looking as well. They're very the skeleton based zombies. They look very skeletal with their kind of skull faces and whatnot, but they are vicious and nasty, and they're a bit more calculating and smarter, as I'm getting to, because they will put a ladder up to the property and climbing through the window, and they will grab weapons as well. They're not your dumb kind of zombies. But this 4K spectacular from 88 films. Even the artwork just is amazing on the set, and I think Burial Ground is just a hell of a fun time. And if you've not seen it, check it out. Take it with a pinch of salt, because it's just wacky, gore-filled splatter action. The narrative's okay. It serves well for me, because I don't watch these films for an absolutely in-depth, riveting story. I watch it for the action and the crazy carnage that ensues, and that's what happens in Burial Ground. It's just brilliant. There's loads of Fulci. Obviously, Fulci did a few zombie films. Lucio Fulci, so there's quite a lot of Lucio Fulci. It's quite Lucio Fulci heavy, this list now, for a few entries. So we'll start with this one. What was that? That was 7, wasn't it? So coming in at number 6 is another Stone Cold classic. Could have been higher. I just put the other films a little bit higher regard, but this film's awesome. I love it. Watched it a few months ago again, and that is Zombie, or Zombie Flesh Eaters, if you're in the UK. Now, this is just a Fulci classic. This there's been a zombie outbreak on an island. Is it a Caribbean island? I don't know if it says on here. Yeah. Not sure about that, but some sort of exotic island. There's been a zombie outbreak. These people go to investigate. They get caught up in the zombies rising from the grave. There's some gnarly scenes, nasty stuff, including the eye gouging scene, the eye popping scene, where a zombie basically gets a woman's head and drives it into a sharp, jagged piece of wood that's sticking out of a door. nasty stuff. The special effects are absolutely fantastic. However, it did rank at number 6. I could have gone a little bit higher with this one. It's just the next few films also are directed by Lucio Fulci, and I just thought that I'd slot this one in at number 6. So that's Zombie, or Zombie Flesh Eaters. If it's known as Zombie Flesh Eaters in the UK. Awesome movie. You've even got, I mean, most of you've probably seen it or heard of it. You've even got like the zombie versus shark action. Like literally a zombie has a fight with a shark. I mean, if that's not fun, I don't know what is. But yeah, good stuff. Zombie Flesh Eaters, one of the best. I'd say that most of these are some of the best zombie movies out there. Now, there's a couple in here going on to number, what are we on? Number 5. Now, I would class this as a zombie movie because there's plenty of living dead action in it. However, some may see it more of a supernatural film because it has like supernatural elements. It has, like I said, zombie elements. But that's the another one from Fulci, part of his Gates of Hell trilogy, and all 3 of those films managed to get into this list. Coming in at numero 5, and that is The Beyond. This is probably Fulci's masterpiece. Sorry, I'm getting a bit distracted because there's someone outside my house blabbering rubbish, but never mind. Yeah, it's got supernatural elements, it's got zombie elements. It's set in New Orleans, right? Yeah, it's set in New Orleans. This woman inherits a house that used to be a hotel. Some strange goings on have occurred like years prior. The dead, the dead start rising, things like that. There's zombies attacking people in the basement of this property. There's a good scene in the hospital where there's a lot of zombies coming after the main 2 in the film. You've got this woman who comes across as fairly creepy. She's like a kind of psychic character. She's blind. And there's a brilliant scene where she's surrounded by the living dead and her dog. Things with The Beyond though, like, I'd class it as a zombie movie, but the zombies don't literally come up from the ground. They kind of appear. It's more like a supernatural, a bit like City of the Living Dead. They're not really coming up from the ground. It's more the zombies just appear like kind of like ghosts, if you will. They're like spirits, but it's the living dead. You got to just watch this film. Like, I'd say it's Fulci's masterpiece. The score's brilliant. It's got some pretty good, quite a rambunctious score. Pretty good. Like, it's kind of epic sounding music. Yeah, The Beyond at number 5, just utterly fantastic. You could say it's arguable whether it's an actual zombie flick or not. I'm going to put it in zombies because even though they didn't come up out of the ground, the zombies are, they look like zombies and they act like zombies. So I'm happy with this being in the zombie list, and that's The Beyond at 5. Masterpiece. Another absolute, another top tier movie from Fulci. The next 2 are actually Fulci. This list is dominated by George A Romero and Lucio Fulci for me because it's zombie action. Anyway, coming in at number 4, City of the Living Dead. This is part of the Gates of Hell trilogy with House by the Cemetery and The Beyond. I love all 3 of them. I used to put The Beyond a little bit higher than this one, but I actually do prefer City of the Living Dead. Now, again, it's another one, and I'll say this again like I did on some of the films earlier. Narratively, bit all over the shop. It has a narrative, but it's Italian horror from the late 70s, 80s. It's from the early 80s, this one. They're a bit crazy. They're known for being a bit crazy, but City of the Living Dead, again, but you do see some of these actually rise from the grave. So this is definitely, a well-placed entry into the list because the zombies do actually come out of the ground. And basically, this woman and is he a reporter? I don't know. He's a reporter, I think. They've got to basically, I've seen it a few times, I just forget. They've got to basically find out what's going on while all these strange occurrences are happening in the town and people are showing up dead. There's images of this priest, people are seeing this priest hanging, awesome scene in a car where this couple are making out and kissing and stuff. And basically, the female sees the priest hanging from a tree. It just appears. And she starts regurgitating her guts through her mouth. It's very gross and gory, but brilliantly done. Yeah, great zombie movie. Plenty of Fulci gore, plenty of gore from the master, the godfather of gore, Fulci. Good zombie action. Some good, supernatural elements sprinkled in there. It's quite a scary film in the bar where the zombies just appear. And they really, it's quite a nasty one as well. Quite nasty with the gore. And the narrative is a little bit loose, but I can forgive that because it's just visually just quite the experience. That's the City of the Living Dead at number 4. So another Fulci now. Fulci again, but still, they're my favourites. And I class this as a zombie movie too. Now this one's quite smart in my opinion. This is number 3. The House by the Cemetery. I love the atmosphere of this film and the pathos. I think it's eerie. I think the music's scary. I love the whole backstory of Dr. Freudstein, who owned the property before the family move in, and he was like a mad doctor. Dr. Freudstein, you know, experimenting on people and stuff. And basically, he's like his the zombified version of him. The animated corpse is waiting in the basement, and whoever goes down there is in for a grisly fate. I'm not going to spoil too much with it, but basically Dr. Freudstein's back from the grave. It's a zombie movie, but it only features one zombie. That's why I think it's quite smart, because they did all this cool stuff in this movie with one zombie. Dr. Freudstein is the only zombie in House by the Cemetery. But he's awesome. He's quite deadly, because he doesn't just like eat people alive with his teeth or consume them. He actually will like pick up weapons and stab people, and there's nasty kills in there, typical of a Fulci film, but it is fantastic. House by the Cemetery, and I love having it on 4K as well, to the point that I've actually got 2 copies of it. I've got the Arrow edition as well. Okay, well, we're on to the final 2 now. I think this video's gone on long enough, because I'm doing a bit of rambling, but I haven't done a video for a few days, so it's nice to actually get back on here and sort of, you know, present something for you guys. That being if you're into it, of course. Coming in at number 2, absolute classic, out of the George A Romero Dead series. It's got great social commentary. Yeah, great social commentary on like consumerism and society in general at the time. It's got a cool location set in a shopping mall for the main portion of the film, some fun characters, and that is Dawn of the Dead, the original from 1978, 10 years after Night of the Living Dead. I think after Night of the Living Dead, with at least the second 2 entries in the series after that film, I think they just get better and better, even more so than Night. Night's a bona fide classic, but Dawn of the Dead, it's just so good. It's colourised, which Night of the Living Dead wasn't, but I don't think that matters. I love black and white films anywhere. That doesn't matter to me, but still, it's a colourised one. Majority set in a shopping mall. I'm sure you all know it. Dawn of the Dead. It's got some fun music. You know, I forget what the piece of music's called, because they do add a bit of comedic elements to this one. I know there's the Argento cut that erases all of the comedic elements. I've got that in here, but I've never watched the Argento cut. I've only watched the shorter cut and the, you know, the extended one, like the 2.5 hours. I like that one. The 2 hours 30 minutes cut is my favourite, because it captures the right feel for the film. So you've got all your scary stuff in there, but it also keeps some of the comedic elements intact. And I think the comedic elements are important for Dawn of the Dead, because it's a nice sort of come down after some of the sort of zombie action, when things get a bit ferocious and fierce with the zombies. It's nice to have a little bit of comedic like relief, comic relief, a little bit of comedy in there. Dawn of the Dead has plenty of it. It's also quite a cozy feeling movie when when the 4 of them are like setting up their base at the shopping mall, and they're kind of trapped in there, but they've got plenty of goods at their disposal, so they section off and secure a part of the mall so they can all live comfortably, and that's kind of cozy. Like, I thought that was kind of a cool bit to it. But yeah, there's got a cool bit of music in here as well at the end, you know, that kind of, I think it's called, is it called the gong or something? I might be wrong. That goes like da 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 da. Yeah, it's really fun. Love Dawn of the Dead. So much going for it, this film. Very smart for its time. Lots of fun. Well made, well shot, good dialogue between the characters. Yeah, Dawn of the Dead, fantastic. This is a great addition from Second Sight. So what is my favourite zombie movie? Now, I probably said before, and it's another George A Romero, but don't worry, it's not Survival of the Dead, which I don't hate. It's just not as good as the older ones. I think this is a 1985 movie. Possibly, yep, from 1985. This is my number 1 pick, my favourite zombie movie, hands down. And all of these in the list are quite interchangeable, as I said, and I love them, but that's Day of the Dead. Now, this is, to me, you know, Dawn of the Dead's not far behind this. I mean, it's pretty, you know, I could interchange them, you know, on a certain day, depending how I feel. But Day of the Dead, I love it. The score's fantastic, especially the Dead Suite on the soundtrack, that sort of extended track of music that plays at the beginning of the movie when they're entering the city in the, is it the chopper? Yeah. It's got the characters in an underground base, a military base, with a bunch of soldiers. So you've got the scientists and the soldiers. The soldiers are clashing with the scientists over how they should go about things and some of the research that the scientists are doing. So they're researching whether zombies are capable of having like certain intelligence and whatnot, and the military guys just think that's ridiculous. The main guy's called Rose. He's a fantastic villain. I do think Rose is one of the really good villains I've seen in a horror movie, and he's a lot of fun to watch. He does get an you know, he does get what he deserves later on in the film for being such an you know, horrible man, but he is great to watch. Rose is a really good villain. He's the military chief who's trying to control the scientists, but the dead basically gain access to the lair and all hell breaks loose down there. Well, I say lair, the military base where they all live. The dead get down there somehow. You'll see if you watch the movie or if you have, and all hell breaks loose. It's got awesome effects from Tom Savini, who also did the effects in Dawn of the Dead, I think, and he also starred in Dawn of the Dead as well as one of the bikers. But Tom Savini does a top-notch job with the effects in this. It's some of the best score I've seen. Rosie's death by the zombies is my favourite zombie death. That's also why I picked this film. You know, where basically spoiler. So when Rose opens that door and he's like, oh no, and all the zombies are there and they literally pull him apart limb from limb, and it's nasty and gory, but as far as special effects are concerned, practical from Tom Savini, it looks absolutely phenomenal when Rose is being pulled apart. Not good for Rose, but it's the best zombie death I've seen. I absolutely love it. And Day of the Dead, it's just my favourite. I love this, like I say, I love the score, love the gore, love how the zombies look. Because in Dawn of the Dead, it's an amazing movie, but the zombies don't look too good. They look a little like they've kind of got blue faces and stuff. They're all right, but the film's amazing. But in Day of the Dead, they really up the ante with the makeup effects for the zombies, and it's my favourite easily. There's my top 10 anyway. Like, yeah, thought I'd do that one for you because you all voted for it. So I've done top 10 zombies. Don't know how you feel about my list. Perhaps you could drop a comment and yeah, that'd be cool. Also, doing a giveaway, which is going to be drawn this Sunday the 1st of December. And what I'm giving away is this, which has actually arrived now, and that is The Exorcist 3 on 4K. So it's got both cuts of the film. You've got 2 discs, because I've got the Blu-ray of this. So even I haven't upgraded to 4K yet. This is for the giveaway. I've got the same edition with the same cover, but it's the Blu-ray from 2019. But this is the new edition, come out in October. You've got a 4K Ultra HD of the theatrical cut, and then of course you've got Legion, the director's cut, which I have seen, and they do have quite a lot of scenes in that one, but I think the quality dips. I don't know if it, yeah, because with the Blu-ray, when you watch Legion, they've spliced in so many extra scenes. You do see, like, the film looks pretty damn good normally, but with the spliced in added scenes, there's a dip in quality, and I assume that'll be the case with the 4K as well, due to the elements. But yeah, you get Legion on there, 2 discs. So I did do a post and said anybody who wants to enter, comment on the post. Well, basically, if you see this video and you want to enter, just when you comment, you can comment on any video, I'll say now. You can comment on any video, but just clarify that you want to be in the competition for the Exorcist 3 4K. Just tell me, just say, oh, can you enter me? And that's fine. That's absolutely fine. So that'll be drawn Sunday. Not figured out how I'm going to do it yet. I don't know whether I'm going to do a digital, you know, an online spin the wheel. That's how I used to do it. The last giveaway, I actually I went old school and I picked the names out of a hat. I quite enjoyed that. I might do that again. I'm even considering doing the giveaway draw live. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure how I'm going about it, but there will be a draw on Sunday. Everybody who's entered has been put on a list by me, and you'll all have a chance to win that for Christmas. And I might even gift wrap it for you, so it'll look like a present from Santa. Anyway, that's my top 10 favourite zombie movies. Hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe. What's your favourite top 10? Perhaps some of you guys who watch this video would like to share with me your top 10 favourite zombie movies. That'd be absolutely brilliant, because I do enjoy reading some good comments and stuff. It's really fun. So, yeah, see you on the next video. Have a great evening. Bye.